traveler. Paimon. It's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoishin. Long time no see. Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, better all the time. But I've been feeling distracted. It's a long story. But my father, he's thinking of stepping down from the team.
Huh? What's wrong with Uncle Tien?
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. He seems very fond of you too. I'm sure chatting with you.
Sure, let's go. Uncle Tien, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Oishi, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea? I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just that as I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many... I am still very much in good standing as the...
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, the Tianshu, historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by our... For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Kuching, Lady Ning...
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tien here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good opportunity for you.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing.
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tien, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning?
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after how long you've been working together. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position, I'll...
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments to go ahead. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, oh, and no need to pay for your tea. How's the... You're all set?
Uncle Tien seems really worn down.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tien is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingguo, and Zhi. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingguo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll...
Tianwei, Mingbo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to...
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing.
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a check. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while...
Oh, I mean, I think it's fine.
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things...
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument. Oh, Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been... Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait.
Fine. Ugh, they're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the circumstance...
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages. Current affairs and planning. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. In the second stage, we will ask them some questions in person. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow. One of them is really...
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished?
Almost.
Finished, huh? What?
Everyone took it very seriously.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting their best... And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. Nobody... That's for me to know, and you to... We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Qianwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing 2 entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind, after all.
Mind your tone, mister.
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, Yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler that people are constantly talking about. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on. What I've tried to do is strike a balance. In other words, present an optimal solution to all the problems as a whole.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results.
Nice answer.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was...
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto, which effectively target... But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingguo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingguo is not very articulate and comes across as...
Perfect summary! Paimon couldn't agree more! You're good at this, Yuan.
Last but not least, Yi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Yi take the position would...
Great!
We'll see. Let's go back and right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. But Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Guo has always been occupied with his...
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tian?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Guo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for, we first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics. Juri came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was fat. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So, I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out quite. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. The young are growing up. I am growing old.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having let...
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tian.
There's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time.
Fresh fish soup.
Doesn't it? Also, sometimes when we've been fishing recently, Juri always brings some extra ingredient. That flavor makes for a fond memory.
Oh, can Paimon come next time too?
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian,
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your... Had you not asked me why Juri's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with... This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard... Remember, you must...
understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. So, it's gonna be Juri, right? His manifesto was written well, and...
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for this assessment.
Huh? So, are you
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost up. For example...
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And they...
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I see...
Nothing can take that guy down. Sir,
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo.
yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Jur-E. Well, obviously as the most promising candidate. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there.
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to Blue, the owner of Wanyu? He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe...
That's actually not a bad idea.
Senua Kiosk. Place to go for classic Yua dishes.
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high.
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single... I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead. And neither of us wants that.
Okay, well, when you put it... Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are...
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri.
Juri? Yes, I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time. But he returned cruelty with kindness. Injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and...
Oh, he sounds like a decent man.
Why are you asking about him anyway? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... That's
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Linlong. Come on, but try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you. Try not to let him see you. We want...
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri, to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan?
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the work.
Wait. You're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juri because you want to be team.
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. But hey, you'll be able to try all the finest food for free.
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fishmongers. Let's see what Uncle Soon has to say.
welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, we've heard about this young man called Juri, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman.
Whoa! Yeon made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juri. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who... apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though...
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so... Why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for...
Wow, she switched identity.
Society for Fish Price Research.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Juri who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area.
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around it. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out it's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial artist, Master Dugu, who knows everything there is to know. Hence, we sought you out to ask for your guidance.
Really? People said I know everything there is to know.
But of course, we also heard that Master Dugu is a kind and virtuous swordsman who...
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street that I don't...
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these days? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes!
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember roughly when the girl...
Oh yeah, I know that! It was about 2 or 3 months ago. Before that, people always used to talk about Jury in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu is indeed as kind and virtuous as the legends claim.
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Jury stories in the street. They seem like nice people.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And I guess I can share some of my candies with them too.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to. I'm sure my friend would also like to say hi to them.
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master Dugu.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was strange if Jiraiya seems to have a great reputation? Uncle Soon...
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true?
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned he's either spent on studying, right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing. That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimistic speculation turns out...
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. Even if we asked Jiraiya about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House. Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up would be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When officially the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tien might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot. Well, we gotta this reading is giving... let...
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yeon's little helpers! Shum! If you're back, that means you finished...
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around and found out that almost all of Qianwei's accounts are open to the public. Where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can still make mora is pretty infuriating when you think about it.
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make mora.
To validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many insights. It's all the result of his first-hand experimentation.
I'm back! Huh? How come you...
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, I would have been back long before you. Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbua.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the...
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbua at all...
I don't believe so. Mingbua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he... According to Miss Yu, the Ministry often gets Mingbua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. People feel much more confident in something if it has his stamp of approval. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the Ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbua gave them the scolding of a lifetime. Apparently, he...
Whoa. That's hard to imagine.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah! So that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto?
We still have a bit left.
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual entries. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Chengshu Pool redeveloped. Chengshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once wrought havoc there, so there are even more secrets buried deep underground. At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure buried beneath Chengshu Pool. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in
did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Jur-E wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Qianshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful... They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something...
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely... What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
Ah, my apologies. This heavy rain must be quite an inconvenience for you.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
It's over.
What's this?
From the back, it looks like a ledger. But it seems they also... We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting.
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. At this rate, by the time the Qianshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy... Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E no red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decide... That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If so...
That's a question for the newcomers.
Excuse us. What?
You want the... I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get...
They go out drinking.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. Hey, you're only young once, right? I say.
Interesting. Let's go... Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Some cover story. I'll wager they've been going... Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd give themselves away that easily, but let's follow them and try our luck.
He went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! Huh. These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here, but, judging from the direction, I'm guessing their destination was that abandoned house. Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes. Someone was burning documents.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything was finished burning.
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible. I've checked. All the paper's been burned. There's only ash left now.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge? They've got
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based here at one point, but it's mysteriously abandoned. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else to throw our
Darn! Guess this is where a trail runs cool.
Make no mistake, the purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar the moment I came in. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different regions produce different odors when they're burned.
Really? Paimon can't smell anything.
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate, where there's nothing but ice as far as the eye can see. Some wealthy people there put floral fragrance in their ink as a way of injecting a little romance into when that fragrant ink is burned. This is the exact odor that it leaves behind. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, so it's nothing we can arrest anyone with. But it's all I need. Now I know who we're dealing with. I can
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Jur-E's regular contacts. Since Jur-E likes fishing, Upei thought he might know some of the fishermen and sailors, so he took a boat out to I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur-E before. Then the waves got so choppy I ended up falling overboard. Fortunately, someone managed to drag me out. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear any?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup came about.
Fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence. Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone suspicious.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show.
Ad Astra. Thank you for completing.
I see the value in my own work. but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of... Abandoned property belongs to whoever finds it first. So, it's legally yours now.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process. I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian entrusted me with the monumentally...
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into testy exchanges with other people. Mingguo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough, and because of his personality, he struggles to win people over. In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an excellent reputation in Liyue, after much consideration. I have decided to recommend Zhi to the Liyue Qixing.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, I've become keenly aware of your great talents. Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future? And taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood. This is the last thing I want to be thinking about right now.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tian proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join me?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't mind knowing.
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave!
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got...
Lady Yelan, Zhi has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Zhi really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep following him without being seen.
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan's sportness? I guess Zhi didn't let his guard down. Still as vigilant as ever.
No, Upei says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired. Perceptive enough to sense when he's being watched.
But how?
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. Evading detection is not an unusual skill for him to have. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too. It's fine. So, where did you lose him?
Xinyue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upei and I were watching outside the whole time. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upei had a feeling that it was him, but we couldn't get close enough to check without blowing our cover. I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been to arrest him there and then, but without any evidence, that would have been meaningless. So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask around in Shinue Kiosk.
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, we'll find a way to Let's go to Shinue Kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy...
Our customers are free to dress however they please.
Okay, fair enough, but...
Well, maybe I did, but it still does...
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question. What did he buy while he was here?
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not something the average customer would order. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor and wineware.
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. Zhi ordered a... We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Zhi's choice.
Zhi picked up his set not long ago. As a quality imitation of an antique wineware set, it has the... Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in...
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little hazy on one thing.
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little more to buying wineware than I first thought. We'll have to mull it over.
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now. All right, see you next time.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank for being wholly incapable of tailing an ordinary civilian without being seen.
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your excuse?
Fair point.
Yelan, so has the plan failed? Oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not...
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
What do you mean?
First of all, Zhi isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol. No, this is a victory feast, held in honor of Zhi's private sponsor. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status. Now, where might we find Fatui who match that description, I wonder?
Fatui officials. Should be either the Snezhnayan Embassy or the Northland Bank.
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many people as you need.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move? If so, you can count me in.
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation. Zhi may be vigilant, but in which case, we don't need to change tactics. Just change who we're following.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Juri bought that liquor for and followed.
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could become a major diplomatic incident.
I'm well aware. But don't you see? Jur-E is gambling everything on this. Stick to your orders, and make sure we're covering all other bases too. Anywhere else Jur-E might be going.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yanshang Tea House.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Juri mentioned in his manifesto.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one place they won't need to worry about being seen.
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct, we just might hit the jackpot this time. This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. The workers left an emergency access route. Still, be ready to fight at any moment.
Don't worry, we're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't...
Let's dance.
Settle down!
As I expected. But this shouldn't be too much trouble.
show begin.
I see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet Ji. Looks like that must be the emergency access route, right?
I'll protect us. Let the show begin.
The water's gone down. Hey, look!
show begin. Let's dance.
Bow your head.
The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues. This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way.
open. Let's go.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
I'll protect us.
Be sanctified.
Let the show begin.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. I'm impressed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
Sorry, that went down the wrong way.
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to drink with us.
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at home for a few days because I was so scared of getting caught.
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through fish soup. What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier as a result.
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle Tien.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tien Shu. Of course, this is as long as you continue to do as we instruct. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will inform you of in due course.
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform them diligently.
Did you hear that? It was poison. That's why Uncle Tien hasn't been feeling well recently. What a nasty guy. See?
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to capture it for posterity.
Excellent liquor. We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the... But soon, everything will be taken care of, and I can report back on a successful mission. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey, do you...
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu, no matter how hard I work. The only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were...
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could... Just look at your two competitors. Qian Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone. and it'll guard your home for...
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous support.
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without complaining. Hey, heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around as much as you want.
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. Seems he was right. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time. So the Fatui persuaded him that he should act while he can. Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. Tonight's grand finale should be coming up any minute now. How well this goes for us depends on how Jur-E plays his hand.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good...
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. It is great. Huh? Jur-E, you poisoned my wine? But when?
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov.
How could you?
How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, I even had to poison my own teacher. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet? I don't want to bow down to anyone ever again. And...
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand? If I disappear with no
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives. The ruins will collapse, and everything will be buried.
What do you...
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become 1 as the truth gradually reveals itself. The Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize the treasure of Qingshu Pool. But things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental deaths of the entire crew. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, they'll be only too happy to blame it all on a rogue operation by you. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan immediately. I guess then, I'll be Tianshu in my own right, with a clean record and well out of the Fatui's reach.
Jur-E, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui has a record of everything. That includes the poison, all interactions between us, even my trip here tonight. After I die, they'll come looking, and they'll get to the bottom of this.
A record? Oh, you must mean the one in the hands of your second-in-command, Theophan?
How do you know about that?
Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan to thank for providing me with the poison I used on you today. He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise comes with a few perks for him. He has been eyeing your position for a long time now.
That traitor!
Shh. Relax. It's over. After tonight, sweet dreams, Mr. Yusupov.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. The game's up. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came out pretty nicely. Want to see them?
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss Yelan. I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases you, Miss Yelan, I'd be only too happy to have you join me in investigating this matter.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle Tien's. Nothing else you wanted to add? Let's leave it there then.
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight, I forgot he was a potential liability. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that much I can still guarantee.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future. I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
You still don't get it, do you? Even, what do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him.
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Oh, out of everyone in the world, he is the one who trusts you the most.
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan. But you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jur-E these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yanshang Tea House tomorrow morning. I'll have someone remove the explosives. Then, there's someone I have to go and see.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one to the... Don't worry. As long as they're willing to cooperate, this'll be... Get some rest. See...
I'll protect us.
It's over.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already...
Dr. Baishu, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later and the tox...
How did they successfully secure such a seldom-seen poison? Unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tien will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. Ah, you're here too? Thank you. Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue after all.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tien. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position. But Qianwei and Mingbo both have potential.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily. I've always known.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tien not that surprised?
Don't underestimate Uncle Tien. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yue High Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tien?
Yes, to be quite honest, I wanted to trust him unreservedly. But I have to be responsible with the position of Tianshu. When I first met Zhi, I wondered if he had approached me with a hidden agenda. I concluded that he had no ulterior motives whatsoever. In the end, even he changed. I never had any plans to recommend him directly, but I always intended to give him the chance to compete on a level playing field. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Zhi was still extremely careful with the poisoning. He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. And he also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor. Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found an opportunity to take the antidote shortly afterwards.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the...
How is Zhi now?
Well, I mean, he's sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, everyone who breaks the law has to... Still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty of guards around to keep him safe from anything the Fatui might be planning.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you arrested?
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon as I realized. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting. I thought I might have the chance to catch a big fish.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the...
Uncle Tien? Yelan? What are you talking about?
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. With Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic offensive. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort into this case?
So, okay, well, did your plans...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ningguang. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond so quickly.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away. But knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something. It gives me a starting point for my next mission.
I have to ask, Yelan. Do you have any desire to take over the position of Tian? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea.
Oh, that. I was obviously joking. I prefer my current life. There's danger and there's excitement. Although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role. As Tianshu, I wouldn't have the chance to get involved in anything truly clandestine. All right, I'm done here. Time for me to go.
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed, it's for me. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business all the time, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the recent turn of events, I'd say...
dance.
Let the mighty be humble. Silence!
Let the show begin. I'll protect us.
Settle down! Be sanctified. Silence! Justice is blindsided. Bow your head.
Let the show begin. I'll protect us.
The tides beckon.
hoyoverse! There's a tear in my robe. Settle down!
Let the show begin. Let's dance. Let the show begin.
Military supplies. Is there a new request from the academics?
No news is good. When I hand this work over to the Elamites,
Just what will we come across this time?
Let's dance.
Is there a new request from the academics?
It's been getting quite busy recently.
The pleasure is all mine. Snow is in fact one of water's natural self-cleansing mechanisms. But human activity tends to reduce snow's purity, so do not consume it.